Welcome on this Tuesday morning. I think I scared Amanda. Good morning. How are you on this beautiful Tuesday morning?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
I'm well. I'm a little frustrated because right before we started the show, I accidentally kicked out a wire. So, I work hard on these intros, so I'm going to play it.
What? Do what? Let the dogs out. Like, who let the dogs out? Who?
Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. Always available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Always available wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
What do they say about the best laid plans? Well, they are that. Just plans. So here we go. It's a Tuesday and we're loaded up. Ron Higgins with Tiger Details. Tiger Detail. Get it? Tiger Tales. Will join us a little bit later. The rival site that covers LSU. We had him on last week to give a preview, and I talked to him last night. And I was like, Ron, I don't want to wear you out here. Why don't you give me somebody else? And Ron was just so good. I said, Ron, you just talked yourself into an appearance, and you've got to be on with us. And he said, okay, no problem. So we'll visit with Ron Higgins, get his insight into the game. Also, we'll try to work in a little bit of Jacob Warren. And if you've been on offthehooksports.com, you know that Tennessee is pretty darn confident. And that carries through the head coach, Amanda. It is something that I don't think is in any way contrived, like the flip side of it, where coaches try to sometimes hide confidence and they're always worried about providing bulletin board material. I think that's who this team is. And I think that's a good thing. If you're going to play the way they play and you have to depend on big plays, and you know that sometimes you're going to drop balls and go through scoring droughts, you have to have confidence to go out there and continue to snap and clear, make big plays. And that's who this team is.
Yeah, it is who this team is. It's been who this team, has been this season. We haven't seen our typical Tennessee team. We haven't seen a team that has doubts. We've seen that in the past with other coaches. You can tell when the players have doubts in themselves. You can tell when they just know that it's not going to work out, but they put on a brave face. We haven't seen this from this Tennessee team. I believe this Tennessee team thinks that they can go out here and win every game. And who's to say they can't?
Yeah, I go back to Butch Jones had all this contrived thing. I don't know if you remember that he said that red team to the south, or he had some reference. Well, that just made Alabama's team mad, and they put up signs in the locker room and they ended up pounding Tennessee. There's just nothing contrived. I think Tennessee's confident, and maybe a little overly confident for where they are in the rebuilding of this program, but you would take that as opposed to the latter. Good morning to you, Crazy. Crazy says, Amanda, good job on the press conference audio. Better than even the official Tennessee Athletics page. So that's all Amanda. She handles that. She with all the press conference audio. It's amazing how she's able to balance that. It comes with a long history of working in the audio field, and we greatly appreciate that. So a lot to get to.
Not me.
A lot to get to. As Tennessee now just a 2.5 point favorite. The line has moved another point. It maybe even 3 or 4 points, depending on who you believe, because there were some people that said at first it was 4.5 to 5.5. Then it settled at 3.5 on Sunday night. And now, as of this morning, I just checked, it was 2.5. You're more of a gambling person than me. I'm not laying money on it. I'm not saying that anybody should lay money on it, but what do you read into the line moving to 2.5 now?
2.5. I read into it that people are giving LSU a lot more credit for that really close win that they just had, where basically Auburn kind of defeated themselves. So people are giving LSU a lot more credit, and maybe it's because of the way that Auburn and Missouri played, and then Missouri played so close to Georgia, and I know that's kind of a 6 ways to Kevin Bacon kind of thing. But I don't think that the general population has trust in this Tennessee team just yet, but I think they will. So I'm not sure what the Alabama-Tennessee line is or the Georgia-Tennessee line is right now, but if I were Tennessee fans or anybody in general betting on this, I would take, hands down, I would go take those lines right now in favor of Tennessee before they blow out LSU. And then here we are.
The 6 ways to Kevin Bacon. It's so funny that you say that. My son said, we're just one person removed from Theo Vaughn now with Jacob Warren. And it was a little bizarre. We've reached out to Theo to try to get him to talk about the Tennessee game in which he dumped Gatorade on Josh Heupel. We have not had any luck there. Hit that subscribe button. I still want to remind you that only 20% of our viewers, I can show you the analytics, have actually subscribed. So like, subscribe, and share. We would greatly appreciate it. And go ahead and give us some thoughts on the message board, what you think of Tennessee's confidence. Because I will say this, it might not bite them in the rump, but they're probably overly confident, maybe a little too confident, but that's cool. I mean, I would rather it be that than be insecure. So go out there, and when I say they're overly confident, they feel like they have the confidence of an 11 or 12 win team when they're probably a 9 or 10 win team. So no knocks on my end. I'm just saying that I don't think it'll affect their play, and I love it, quite frankly. So no knocks on my end whatsoever. Okay, yesterday Tennessee met with the media. Warren Burrell, defensive back, out for the season. That's certainly a blow, and I would argue Tennessee's worst position right now in the defensive backfield. Cedric Tillman did have the tightrope surgery. That was confirmed, and he was on the practice field, but very limited. I don't think he plays against LSU. Amanda, does he play against Alabama? That would mark a month from the injury. And we've seen Tua Tagovailoa in college come back in less than a month once, and then 28 days another time. So it wouldn't stun me if he ran out there, but on Saturday against LSU, but I don't think that that's going to happen. That's just my hunch.
It would stun me if he ran out against LSU. We saw Tennessee play Florida. We saw, not that they didn't. Honestly, you want Cedric Tillman always. You want to be able to have him, whenever you can. He's a great wide receiver. You want that option. You don't need him. And that's something that Tennessee hasn't been able to say on a dynamic player like Cedric Tillman. They've needed every single player all the time. This wide receiving core is pretty good. I mean, not pretty good. They're one of the best, I think, in the nation. So you don't need Cedric Tillman to win this game. You'd like to have him, but you don't need him. So I would sit him for this game. I would let him take some more time to recover from this injury, from the surgery. And I know it's not that big of a surgery. It's just basically precautionary. It's something to just get the blood flowing through, like, to the feet, because Tua had to have it as well, as you pointed out. I would sit him. I think any coach would sit him. I don't think you tell the media you're going to sit him.
No.
So maybe that's why we're going like, well, maybe he'll play. He's not playing. Against Alabama, I think we'll see him. LSU, no.
If this were an SEC championship game or national championship game, I think there's a really good chance he would run out there because it would be 21 days. But still, that would be pushing it. Tua Tagovailoa was able to return in a 21-day period. But everybody's different. To point to one guy, and I'm sure other guys have had this surgery, and it's been 6 weeks. So every single ankle sprain is different. So I don't want to play doctor. I am not that, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night, and they didn't have any Honeybee coffee. Honeybee brings you the down and dirty at 30. Why is Honeybee coffee so good, Amanda? It just tastes good.
It just tastes good. It's just good coffee. There's nothing more you can say about coffee is that's that important. You want it to taste good. At the end of the day, that's what really matters, and this coffee just tastes good.
So let's look back at the Auburn game last week against LSU when LSU receivers were absolutely running bare open. And suddenly Auburn looked like the second coming of the 80s 49ers. If LSU lines up and plays man press coverage against Tennessee and gets beat, then the Tigers, they don't have anybody to blame themselves. That's going to be a recipe for trouble. The Tigers, according to Chris Landry of Landry Football, have played man press coverage about 40% of the time this season. It remains to be seen what they'll do. Josh Heupel said that they do run press man, but you see a bunch of coverage variations. So they're not going to do just one thing. But when it is man to man, Josh Heupel, again, with the confidence, said you have to find a way to go win, saying, quote, we're going to try to put those guys in a position to win, but we also trust those guys to win in those situations, those one-on-one situations. So whether or not Cedric Tillman is available based off what I saw in LSU's LSU's defensive backfield last week, I think that Tennessee wins that matchup. And if they play man press, it could get really, really ugly. Again, we talk about confidence. Let's go to Jacob Warren, who we visited with, and we'll try to work in before the end of the program, but is on our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and share. When I asked him, do you like your chances against man press coverage? He said, yeah, I'll take our guys over just about anybody. And I would too, even confidence or not. I mean, the matchup based off what we saw in that Auburn game, how can you not take Tennessee's receivers, Amanda?
You have to. And I know LSU is typically DBU is what they call it because of all the great defensive backs that have gone through that program. They don't have them this season. I mean, they really don't. They don't have them. And you need, 2 or 3 at least that are good, that can keep up with these wide receivers, and they can't. They just can't this season. I don't know if all of the talent in LSU transferred out. I don't know what happened, but LSU can't keep up with Tennessee's receivers. This should be a no-brainer type matchup.
Orange Blood saying it'll be similar to the Pitt game. Can we pass block well enough to get a man open for Hooker? I think there are some similarities there. I actually like Pitt's defensive front a little bit more than LSU, just a touch. And we'll see what they can do up front. But this Tennessee offensive line has proven that they're adept at pass coverage, but maybe not great at it. So they need to be great at it on the road. And one other note that I wanted to get to, the Down and Dirty 30 brought to you by our friends at Honeybee Coffee is, and you can check this out again on offthehooksports.com. That's a plug. It will be interesting to see what Tennessee is able to do. We all saw what happened 2 Saturdays ago when Tennessee's team went up against a dual threat quarterback. The Vols gave up over 450 yards to Anthony Richardson, and this is by Caleb Calhoun on offthehooksports.com. In the process, UT nearly blew a 38-21 lead late. Now they have to face another mobile quarterback, and LSU Tigers quarterback Jaden Daniels. Here's part of the problem, though, with Daniels. I don't think he's very accurate downfield. Now, we said the same thing about Anthony Richardson headed into the game, and Tennessee played coverage way, way too soft. So hopefully they learn from that. But with Burrell out, the thing you don't want is to make Jaden Daniels have an Anthony Richardson type of day. That's what you're trying to avoid. So, Amanda, you would think the pass coverage would be tighter than it has been previously. If it's not, then Tennessee could give Jaden Daniels a career day. But I look at Jaden Daniels, and we said this about Anthony Richardson too. Anthony Richardson is a powerful runner, but Jaden Daniels, you take that 11-yard run that Anthony Richardson had in the first quarter, and you're like, uh-oh, Tennessee's not playing sound gap containment. You look at that first run, that's probably a 40-yard run with Jaden Daniels. He is that much faster and that much quicker. And if you allow him in the open space, Amanda, you got problems.
You do if you allow him in the open space. If you make him rely on hitting his receivers downfield, I don't think you have that many problems. So I think that's going to be up to Tennessee to be able to do. I mean, we have to think about it. This was not LSU's starting quarterback going into this season. Their starting quarterback left, took his NIL money and peaced out. So this, I mean, it's pretty much if you want to really look at it, he's the backup quarterback that's in this, this season. He started this season, but he started as a backup because their first string went bye.
Yeah. And he was banged up last week. By the way, the Alabama game announced as a 3:30 start. That's good. That and the Florida game should always be 3:30. But I know things are going to change with the new TV contract. But to me, the Tennessee Florida game and the Tennessee Alabama game, do whatever you want to with the other ones, should always be 3:30. I don't know why, but it just feels like that. I don't know why.
I like a night game. I love a night game.
Do you?
I'm a big fan of the night game. Yep. The atmosphere is just different in the night game. And the atmosphere in Bryant-Denny during the night game is insane to me. Neyland Stadium, yes, obviously, but I think it hits harder when you're a fan of the team. You can appreciate the atmosphere in other places, but when you're a fan, it just hits harder when it's in your home.
Yep. And they're going to wear the Smokey Grays. I don't hear as much complaining about that as I used to. Guys, it looks kind of cool. It's marketing. I mean, that's exactly what it is. So I wouldn't get too worked up over it. Try Again Tuesday is a new segment that we want to add to the program. We did that last week, and it's brought to you by Zool Beer Company. Zool Beer Company with a great panoramic view of downtown, place to park, and worldwide award-winning craft beer. That's Zool Beer Company, xulbeer.com. Check them out. Great merch as well. So the Try Again Tuesday, watching the game last night, my son comes in and he offers this up, which I think was pretty awesome. He goes, well, hey, Dad, I saw where one of those gambling sites was talking about this guy who was going to win in a parlay, and it appears I just got an email, who was going to win in a parlay, and if he won, he would win $78,000. But the gambling company said to him, you can just buy out for $28,000. Cash out for $28,000. I don't know if you saw this too, but the Rams had a win straight up. The Rams lost 24-9. So he loses that 28 grand. That's a classic Try It Again Tuesday. Would you have walked away with the 28?
I mean, if I'm putting some money on this and I'm winning 28,000, I'm walking away with 28,000. I'm not chancing it. I'm not putting it on the Rams to be, the 49ers. NFL is always unpredictable to me. It's unpredictable. The moment you think it's going to be a hands down, oh, they got this. No, the Jets come in and somehow win this game. And I know the Jets aren't playing, but I'm just saying, whenever you're comfortable with your team, it's Tom Brady's Patriots versus the Jets. And you are 99.9% sure that those Patriots are going to run away with it, and the Jets sneak in and get a win somehow. That's just how the NFL goes. I swear, it happens every week. There's somebody that should not win that comes back and wins. So, no, I would take the 28 grand. I'd cash out at that point.
Yeah, especially, yeah. Even without hindsight 2020, I'm taking the 28 grand. We have palatial studios in West Knoxville. But do you have one for Try It Again Tuesday? Do you have one that you want to throw out there?
I have a couple. So Try It Again Tuesday. By the way,
your one last week, the Alabama readout thing, or Arkansas readout thing for the Alabama game was classic. That looked so stupid. It was unbelievable. But go ahead.
No one would have ever known that there was a red out. It looked the same as it would have. It looked the same as if you never announced it. It's the same color for both teams. Makes no sense to me, but that's okay. So my try it again Tuesday is going to go along the same lines. I don't know if you saw the Ole Miss striping the field. That did not work out well.
I didn't. What happened with the Ole Miss striping the field?
It didn't work. It looked bad. It made no sense. It just did not look. I don't know if people just didn't wear the right color, if they got confused. But along with that game, I'm going to do the try it again. Frat boy gone down, like fist flying in the student section at Ole Miss. Like you saw before the game even started, they're showing kids, like these kids that are clearly hungover for this game. I mean, not making it through even, hasn't even kicked off, and they're just sitting there like asleep. But somehow in the middle of all of it, Ole Miss, like frat boys just go at each other. I mean, punches are thrown. Like it's bad. I mean, somebody must have said something about somebody's daddy's law firm, because I mean, it's just, they're out for blood at this point. And I'm just like, God bless it, guys. You're in suits. Try it again. Try going to a game. Maybe sober this time.
As far as the stripe it out or checkered or whatever you want to call it, Crazy said everybody tried to copy Tennessee. You know that actually Tennessee copied that from Oklahoma, if you remember correctly, when they played there. And I thought at the time that it was going to be a massive disaster. I didn't think anybody would understand what colors to wear, but they pulled it off. Tennessee still has a losing record with the checkered kneeling, but
that is no thing. That is not a jinx. People are like, oh, it's a jinx if we wear Smokey Grays. It's a jinx if Peyton Manning's there. It's a jinx if we checkered kneeling. No, it's not. There's no such thing as jinxes. I'm sorry. There's just not. Aside from the Cubs, that's probably the only jinx I've ever heard of that I actually were like, yeah, maybe that is. But the checkerboard kneeling is so cool because the end zones are checkerboard. That's what makes it so cool. Like the whole, like Oklahoma, okay, maybe you sectioned out your little, your stadium and it looked cool on TV, but the checkerboard kneeling is iconic because the checkerboard end zones are iconic for Tennessee. That makes it just a whole nother level of cool. So it doesn't matter who started it. You can't take away the checkerboard kneeling because nobody else has checkerboard.
Yep. That's well put. And that was a tradition started by Doug Dickey way back in the day, and started a lot of traditions that, when he went to Florida, people forgot about and got angry with him. But yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about it like that, but the checkerboard end zones make a lot of sense. It fits in well. Anybody else that does it just seems like they're trying to do something different. And probably trying to sell more jerseys. If they do a Smokey Grey out, I'm going to get physically ill. If they encourage,
that would be awesome.
No, it would. Is that today's tough question then?
Yes.
Oh man.
Who else has ever done a gray out?
We're working like heck.
Today's tough question. What's the real debate?
You sipping my Soupe Guadalupe?
Exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker and Amanda LaFratta.
You drinking my sake, Kimosabi?
Oh my God.
All righty. Is that what we're going to do? Would you
love it?
A gray out? All gray?
That would be, I'm sorry, that would be sweet. I think that would be sweet.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh, why not?
It needs to be orange or white. All right, so what are our choices? Because
white.
You do the absolutely hate it, kind of like it, sort of like it. So how do you want to break it up? And that'll be today's tough question. Orange Sea Lion says no. Daniel says no. I think this is the first.
It would be cool.
Destroy you in.
That's fine, but I think it would be awesome. I mean, Penn State has the whiteout, so nobody can really do that. Nobody can do the whiteout and make it look cool like that. But for Tennessee to come out in smoky gray uniforms and their entire stadium be smoky gray, that would be sweet. I don't think they'll ever do it because the checkerboard Neyland is iconic again. But that would be sweet.
Chris said, I've been a Tennessee fan all my life, and I don't own anything gray. A Tennessee Vol 09er says, do a blackout. All right, today's tough question. You phrase it, brought to you by Nutrition World. Today, partnering with you on your wellness journey. I can't encourage you enough to go to Nutrition World and their e-commerce store. That's where you need to buy your supplements, because you're going to get the best supplements that money can buy at the best price. And the thing about Nutrition World is they're all about quality, and they're going to make sure that you get the best supplements and you get taken care of. Their e-commerce store was voted one of the best supplement stores in the entire nation. That's incredible. Orange Blood said we just need to ball out, just win, and get away from the gimmick marketing. Teams like Bama don't need to resort to that. And man, more and more people. Joe is like against gray out. He's doing the emoji vomit. When you get the emoji vomit, that's pretty strong. So
again, I'm not a Tennessee fan, so that would be, that's probably why I'm like, I'd love it, because I think it would just look cool. Aesthetically, I think it would look cool. The checkerboard Neyland Stadium is awesome. Like, I think it looks cool. And I'm like, so let's take it to the next step. Let's see what else you can do.
Raleigh says black and gray checkered. So you go ahead and set it up. We'll ask Ron Higgins that question here momentarily. He'll be with us. Stay tuned. Ron Higgins with a complete LSU breakdown. We're back in 2 minutes. Tell us about Big Orange Phillies, family friendly. Mr. Viles?
Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant. It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes, folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
This is Al's Dish Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus a complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food. We'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, where Chattanooga goes to grill.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
I have zero idea why I dropped a man out of the shot. Made us far less aesthetically pleasing. Like,
I don't know. That line down the middle of the face was top notch.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's Amanda LaFratta. I'm Dave Hooker. Ron Higgins coming up here momentarily. How are we phrasing today's tough question today, Amanda?
Okay. As the smoky gray uniforms roll out against Bama, Should Tennessee fans try a gray out in Neyland Stadium? So here are the options. Go ahead, get on there and vote. No. You, David. Like, if anybody's seen Schitt's Creek, if you haven't, check it out. It's hilarious.
What did you say?
Schitt's Creek. It's SCHITT''S.
Yeah. Shit's
That's
it is.
Is the first one. 2 is we couldn't pull that off. 3 is that'd be cool. And 4 is absolutely let's do this.
All right, shoot it out there, and we'll ask Ron Higgins here momentarily what he thinks of the whole idea.
It has been shot.
Yeah, you mentioned something, the whiteout. Could you not do the whiteout too?
No, that's a Penn State thing. Don't do the whiteout. The Penn State, no, that's a Penn State thing. Leave it to Penn State.
Raleigh suggests a black and gray checkered. No, I don't hate that as much as all gray.
I do.
All right, let's ask Ron Higgins. Ron's appearance brought to you in part by Craft Treats. I'll tell you more about Craft Treats here momentarily. But Ron joins us now. Ron, we were kicking around the idea of a gray out at Tennessee. You covered a lot of Tennessee games, for those that don't know, for the Memphis Commercial Appeal. Now with Tiger Details, give us a preview of LSU. And what do you think about a gray out for the stadium?
Well, first of all, I hate Tennessee's gray uniforms. Hate them. Hate them. They're the worst uniform combination they have. This just simply is. Okay, I mean, there's better combinations than that. I even like their white uniforms better with the orange numbers with the black outline. I mean, it's kind of bold looking. If I'm going to alter, but I don't know how gray gets in there as an alternate uniform for Tennessee. It's not a good look. It looks dingy. Looks like they hadn't washed them.
It looks, you know what it looks like, Ron, is we had some gravel spread in my driveway and they were not nice enough to tell me to move my car. And I just had my car washed the day before and it's a black car and it was gray. It was completely gray with dust.
I'm not a big fan of their gray uniform, but I guess some people are.
I like it.
Well, I don't know. I also look from a media standpoint. It's always difficult to read numbers on gray uniforms. Southern, it just really is. Southern University in Baton Rouge kind of had they had the worst looking uniform I've ever seen for a game against LSU a few weeks ago. You couldn't read anything. Of course, they played so bad you didn't want to know who they were anyway. So,
it's on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. That way, when you're down, 35-0 in the first quarter, nobody wants to know your name. So, I'm not a big fan of the gray. I mean, and I don't know what you can do for alternate uniforms. Have they worn black before? Or
yeah, that was Lane Kiffin. That was the infamous Lane Kiffin night.
Yeah. I don't know if the black would do well either. It's kind of like a Halloween outfit, black and orange.
It was on Halloween, and they beat South Carolina.
There you go.
But it looked like you and I got together and just sewed it ourselves. It was thrown together in like a week. It looked horrible.
See, I mean, LSU really doesn't have alternate uniforms. I mean, they're pretty straight. They'll change some pants up and some helmets up, but their jerseys are always white. 98% of the time and purple when they usually they wear purple for the second. I think it's the second non-conference game they play every year. LSU wears white at home, of course, as you know. It's against they have permission from the NCAA to do that, and then they always get it cleared with the opposing team if they can go ahead and wear white at home in Tiger Stadium. So it works out well, but they never deviate from that. One time they had a gold jersey top way back when. People didn't like it. It wasn't that bad, but people didn't like it. But most time LSU wears their white jersey, gold pants, gold helmet. But sometimes they'll break out all white jerseys and white pants and white helmet. They've done that. They have a few combinations, but they never deviate from the jersey other than white or purple.
I would make an argument that LSU, from an objective standpoint, has the best uniforms, and then we'll move on to football. But the best uniforms in the SEC.
A lot of people like them, yeah. They like the clean look of the uniform. They like the colors. They like the shoulder stripes. It is a good looking uniform. But uniforms aren't going to win this game. Unfortunately for LSU, uniforms are going to win the game.
And let's get to that. By the way, let me ask you real quick though. What are your favorite uniforms in all of football, college football?
I really like LSU a lot. But you know what? LSU, I like UCLA, but LSU based theirs on UCLA. That's the truth. You go back to the 50s, late 50s when LSU switched to those uniforms like they have now. I mean, Paul Dietzel, LSU's coach in the late 50s, based the look on the UCLA uniforms. And let me tell you, when LSU and UCLA played in last year's season opener, it was spectacular because LSU had their white unis and UCLA had their blue, they're like not powder blue, but it's a little bit darker, and it was a uniform spectacular. Really, it was. It was a beautiful day in the Rose Bowl. Everything went well, except LSU played like crap. So, I always feel for all the fans who go to games, who spend their money, they go a long way for games, and their team plays like crap. I feel bad for them, because if I was in the stands and having paid that money to watch that, I'd be telling my friend, my wife, what the hell are we doing here? Well, I'll pal watch this garbage. They're going to come out and play like this. What kind of garbage is this? Hand me that drink. I always think of the fans when that happens. I see the team travel and play a really bad road game. I think of the fans who invested their time and their money to drive or fly to see it. That's the first thing I think of. God, would I even want to be there for this stuff if I was a fan?
And you can't go out at night because everybody's going to make fun of you and say, "Oh, you made the trip and you got beat." So you just have to go to your hotel and sulk.
Oh yeah, you just go through a McDonald's drive-through and kind of slink through the back door of the Motel 6, and like, is nobody going to see me? And you check out at 6 a.m. You just kind of, you don't even check out. You go straight to your car because you can do that now. It's like, let's go, honey. Now let's go. So,
yeah, it's like you're Robert Kraft.
Wow.
Sneaking in and out of the masseuse parlor.
Yeah.
Ron's appearance brought to you in part by our friends at Craft Treats. They've got the chill pills that will take care of your pet. And I want to get you some chill pills because you've got the which Bichon is it now?
Oh, Skippy. Skippy is high energy, baby. Skippy is just like put it this way, I have a sweatshirt and he's eating it bit by bit,
Does Skippy was it Buffy or which was the one that had its own Facebook page?
That was a Buddy the Wonder Bichon. Yeah, he has his own, and Skippy makes appearances on there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can get you some. Chill pills from Craft Treats. So if your dogs ever have social anxiety, or maybe they're getting older like my dog, then they can take care of you with the CBD cannabinoids. I'm not kidding. I'll send you out some. How about that?
I'm going to give my dog cannabis and get him high. That's good. I like that. He won't even bark. He'll just go, "Hey man, woof, 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 dude."
Cheech and dog.
Like, hey man, I'm really hungry. Where's the food, man?
Go to crafttreats.com and don't forget that you can save 20% if you use the exclusive code off the hook. Crafttreats.com off the hook. It'll take care of your pet, make your wallet happy too. Ron, you seem to think that this is a game that Tennessee should win, and they would have to, based off our conversation last night, they would have to make mistakes to lose. Tell me how you see this game, 20,000-foot view.
Well, first of all, I think the people setting the line in Las Vegas have been smoking crack. 3.5 points, really? 2.5 points? That's what it is?
Yeah.
Really? Have they seen LSU try to throw the ball. LSU averages 7 yards of completion. They got a quarterback as fast as he is and as great as he is at making plays with his legs. He is still reluctant to throw the ball downfield. Tennessee may put everybody on the line of scrimmage because this guy will not throw the ball downfield. No matter what Brian Kelly has done to try to get this guy to throw the ball downfield. I mean, there's receivers who are open. The guy doesn't want to throw it to them. And subsequently, they're a one-dimensional offense. The running games, it's okay. It's nice. It's all right. But you're not going to beat Tennessee with a one-dimensional offense. And LSU now, I realize Tennessee is giving up some big plays. I get that. But if LSU gets big plays on Tennessee, it's going to be off of slip screens and slants and stuff like that. It's not going to be going 15, 20 yards downfield to air. I don't know if this Jaden Daniels will not throw the ball downfield. Maybe this is a game he does. But the fact that he's skittish to throw the ball downfield is worrisome because this guy has now started 34 college games, 29 at Arizona State and 5 at LSU, and he still won't throw the ball down that damn field. And he's got some of the best receivers in the nation. Keyshawn Butte, a preseason first-team All-American, was targeted twice at Auburn last year, twice. I mean, this guy's open. They got other guys who are open. This guy he will not throw it to him. He's not comfortable enough to throw it to him. But LSU has other options. Your backup quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, he doesn't give you the best chance to win because he doesn't move as well as Daniels does. So LSU's kind of in a dilemma quarterback-wise. I know Tennessee fans are going, yeah, right. He's telling us a bunch of crap because we heard this with Anthony Richardson before. Yeah, can't throw the ball. Sure. Well, if this is the week he does it, this is the week he does it. But at Auburn last week, it hit an all-time low because LSU had to rally from 17-0, and they scored their first touchdown off a defensive fumble. And then what happens? LSU all of a sudden at the end of the first half of games, they scored in the last drive of the first half. I think the last 3 games maybe. It's like all of a sudden they're like, okay, we got to wake up. Let's go. And I don't know if it's the fact that they up their tempo or teams play a prevent defense, which is the wrong thing to do against LSU because Daniels will kill you with his legs. Yeah. I mean, you play a prevent. I mean, there's been so many drives this year, those last minute drives in the first half where they've gone 80 yards and probably 40 of them or 50 are his runs because they're dumb enough to go cover LSU's receivers, and he'll just take off running and get massive gains. That's LSU's offense, and really is that, they send receivers out, people are open, he doesn't throw it, he runs against massive gains. That's LSU's offense right now. Their defense has played really well. They had some busts last week. Had a new guy in the secondary, hadn't played yet, and there's some communication problems. But for the most part, their defense has been pretty good. Their special teams plays awful. Kelly says it's gotten better. Maybe it has, but last week they had 4 penalties, special teams. So field goal kicker is shaky. The punter's really good. The return game is getting better, but there's still too many penalties and stuff like that. So 2.5 point favorite, 3.5 point, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't see that. And I know it's Tiger Stadium. And listen, the 11 o'clock start's not going to matter to LSU. They've won the last 5 or 6 times they play 11 o'clock.
Yep.
It's a matter of which team right now is further along in its program as far as under a relatively new coach. I'm going to be honest. LSU has better talent. They do. I mean, their recruiting classes, they have better talent. That doesn't necessarily going to win this game. I think the team that really is further along in rebuilding under its coach, a team with a much better quarterback, a team with an offense that puts up points. I just don't see Tennessee losing this game, and I don't see Tennessee not covering a spread. I just don't. I mean, I just think that's incredibly low.
Ron Higgins, join us with TigerDetails.com. Before Amanda reminds me, hit that subscribe, like, and share button. Be sure and do that so we can be a part of your Tennessee and SEC coverage. Amanda, jump in there.
So if in fact LSU does pull this off, let's just go worst case scenario for Tennessee fans. How do you see them doing it other than just giving up big plays to Daniels with his legs? What will they have to do to pull off this win?
So LSU?
Yes.
Daniels have to stay in the pocket and actually throw to receivers. Guys are going to get open. LSU's got really, really, really good receivers, all of them. But you got to get them the ball, and you got to be patient and stay in the pocket. Against New Mexico, he did that, and he was like 22 of 28, and he looked great. And then he comes out against Auburn, and this kind of went back to the way he was the first few games, where I understand. Look, he's so fast, and then last week he got banged up a bit at the end of the game. I think he got a bursa sack injury. And the only time I ever heard a bursa sack injury was Peyton Manning getting hurt.
Yep.
Before the Orange Bowl game, he got hurt in the SEC championship game way back when. It really dates me. Shows how ancient I am.
He was on. If you remember, he was on Letterman too, and his knee was as big as a soccer ball. He was on Letterman before it. So Nebraska's like, oh, well, we know to go after him. But anyway, sorry to get your side.
But he's been practicing, so he's okay. But that said, if he needs to stay in the pocket and hit his receivers and give LSU balance on the offense. If he does that, LSU's got a shot. But they got to figure some way to slow down Hendon Hooker. Any quarterback who's – I know he runs the ball well too. So, but, I just think for LSU's sake, they got to figure some way to make him move in the pocket or throw his timing off in his passing or make him uncomfortable. I don't know if Tennessee's going to win necessarily with a run game. I just think they've got to make Hooker uncomfortable, and Daniels has to really stay in the pocket and hit receivers. And that's the way LSU can win this game. But maybe they can make Hooker uncomfortable, but Daniels has to improve vastly from the last game for LSU got a shot here. But again, LSU makes too many mistakes elsewhere. Most of the time, if you don't have offensive balance, you can win with a run game as long as your special teams are good. And LSU's special teams haven't been good.
Ron, this LSU secondary made Auburn just look incredible last week, and I was pretty taken aback by how open their receivers were at times. Is that a chemistry growing together issue, or is that a talent issue? Because we think of LSU as DBU.
It's a chemistry issue, talent. They're trying to get used to each other. 5 of their 6 cornerbacks they have are transfers. I mean, and so being introduced to each other, not been brought for very long.
My name's Dave.
Yeah, and their safeties are relatively new. So yeah, and some of the guys, and they've had some injuries, so they've had to stick some guys in there. Last week, they one of the issues was they added a new safety, Joe Fouché from Arkansas, and in the world of college athletics is now LSU traded 2 defensive players to Arkansas for 2 defensive players in the offseason. One of them was Greg Brooks, who made the interception at the end, kind of steal the victory for LSU. The other one is Joe Fouché, who'd been sitting out because of some transcript problems when he transferred. So last week was his first game. So there were some communication problems. Receivers haven't run that wide open against LSU like that this year. That was the first time. And the only other time I saw that was last year. Listen, when Bo Nix transferred to Oregon, LSU was happy because Bo Nix made a living off the LSU. Not anybody else in that seat, just LSU. But last week, yeah, I mean they ran open, and I think it was Kelly said it was a communication problem. I agree. There's some new guys back there because their talent is on in the second. It's actually pretty good, but not on the level that has been with the guys before they recruited. But they'll get back to that. They've got some good guys committed.
Amanda, you want to jump in there?
Oh, I thought I just did, but I can jump in there again.
Oh, okay. Well, it's up to you. But Brandon says, Ron, has anyone ever told you that you sound like Jack Hanna, the animal guy? I've never heard that before.
I don't heard that either. No, I've been mistaken for him. I've been mistaken. I've been mistaken for Rutger Hauer, the actor. I've been mistaken for Jack Sigma.
Who is it that I get all the time, Amanda?
Megan Rapinoe.
No, it's not Megan Rapinoe. That was somebody making fun of me because I lost weight at SEC Media Days. No, the actor.
James Woods, a young James Woods.
Yeah, do I look
he
like
loves it.
James Woods?
Like a young a little bit. You mean you need to be even thinner in the face. He's almost gaunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what my one Jack Hanna story, if you got a second. So this was back in 2005 when Philip Fulmer was catching some heat, if you remember, and Jack Hanna came out publicly and said that he was supporting Philip Fulmer, which well, great. And so I went through all kinds of venues to get Jack Hanna on the show, and it was 7 minutes of fluff so I could get to one question. And the question was, if Philip Fulmer was an animal, what animal would he be?
Yogi Bear?
No. Jack Hanna took a second and he said,
Pumpkin?
That's a good question. He said, He said, that's a good question. He goes, I just think he'd be like a big old walrus.
Oh my God.
An orca.
Oh,
orca.
That's just brutal.
He said, but he meant it in a complimentary way because people don't know it. Walruses seem docile, but can be very violent and attack.
Wow. You're up on your walrus knowledge.
I got it from Jack in that one interview.
I didn't know you were the world's foremost walrus expert. Other than, the Beatles song, I didn't know you were, or the golfer nicknamed the Walrus. Craig Stadler? Is that it? Okay. The Walrus.
Yes, it was Craig Stadler. It's a good reference.
Wow.
Ron, as far as Brian Kelly getting this program under wraps after a really shaky start in the opener, how much credit do you give him? Because this could have been a team that he lost, but it doesn't appear that that's the case.
I'll give him a lot of credit. I mean, he's very good. I mean, he's just really good about the way he handles himself and handles things, and constantly, talking to his team and preaching certain things. I mean, and he's very honest about their team. He just and he was. I guess that's what I like about him, that he calls it like he sees it, and what he sees is the truth. He's said all year. Now, we've played with a lot of heart, a lot of grit, and it's great, but that's not going to get it done against these teams we're playing up. Tennessee, and we're coming up Tennessee and Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama. The heart and grit's not going to win games. You got to execute. You got to do the right things. You've got to take care of the details. You can't be sloppy. I really like that. I like a guy who's like, yeah, you're right. And I think he's likable as a coach because he doesn't insult the fans' intelligence. I mean, LSU fans see the same things he's seeing. Yeah, they play with a lot of heart and grit, but why the hell they falling behind 17-zip? Why they keep falling behind? Why don't they start playing in the second half offensively? I mean, yeah, they have a lot of heart and grit, but what the hell's going on in the first half? And he sees that and he's trying to correct it. Believe me, he's constantly talks to his team about stuff. I mean, they work and practice on stuff. And yeah, the players players have faith in him. They like what he says. They like the way he handles things. They like the way he runs practices. They like everything about him. They just got to get, again, they're in a formative stage of a program that was hitting the skids. When Ed Orgeron, like I said, took the lottery money, and when he got a new contract right after they won the national championship, and he divorced his wife and decided the next 2 years he's going to have a hell of a good time and force LSU to pay him $17 million so he can go around flexing in bars with his shirt off. Basically what happened, and he lost control of the program, and now they get a guy who's totally opposite of him, a guy who's a proven winner as far as a track record of consistent winning, who is kind of like the total opposite of Ed Orgeron. A lot, like I said, a lot like Nick Saban in demeanor and approach. We have a plan. We develop the plan. We stick to the process no matter what, and we see how we can get our players better. And the straightforward answers. He's a lot like Saban in that sense.
That's not a bad thing to be a lot like Saban, especially if you're, in a coach, especially if it's at LSU. You kind of, that's the last time I think LSU had a good coach. Honestly, I don't like Les Miles. I don't think Les Miles is very good, to be honest.
Well, that's a pretty good assessment. I don't think Les Miles is very good either. Les Miles wasn't on, coherent a lot of the times, I believe. Look, just if you go back to the last game LSU played in Tennessee in Tiger Stadium, when LSU, Tennessee had 13 players on the field, and the LSU center snapped the ball, who's now a radio host in Baton Rouge. That was classic Les Miles. Who was Tennessee's coach?
Dooley.
And his buddy Chuck Smith was in charge of the defensive line.
Okay, but what happened? Les Miles sucked Dooley into Les Miles' ball of confusion. Just basically, what are they doing? They're sending 48 people out there. We got 40 people. And before you know it, they've got 13 players on the field. LSU is the right amount. The LSU center, T-Bob Hebert, looks up. The clock is about to run out. He doesn't know they have 13 players on the field. All he knows is, I better snap the damn ball. He snaps the damn ball, goes over the head. Game's supposedly over, but no, Tennessee had 13 players on the field, so LSU gets another play. Because Les Miles sucked Dooley into his ball of confusion. He almost did it against Ole Miss one year. Against Ole Miss, they played at Ole Miss, and Les is running people on and off, and LSU runs out of time, and they lose by 2 points. In the final seconds, they're on Ole Miss's 10-yard line, and they're running people on and off the field. They lose. And after the game, I'll talk to Houston Nutt. He says, "Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I was about to call a timeout." I'm like, "What? You're going to call a timeout and let him get a field goal kicker over the game?" I know. That's what Les did. Les would just suck you into this ball of this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then you'd end up losing because he would suck you right in. And that's classic Les Miles. And I agree with Amanda. Les got fired because Les didn't know what the hell he was doing. They got beat by Alabama 21-0 in the national championship game after they won the game 9-6 because Les thought he could play the same game plan and beat them again the same way. Hey, let's beat him with field goals. We're going to run the same damn game plan. And Alabama's not going to – we can win because they're not going to change anything. Of course, Alabama changed a lot of stuff. But that's Les. And this is why LSU's program – a lot of people look at LSU's program it's one of the best programs in the country because one, it has one of the greatest talent bases in the country in Louisiana high school. And two, Les Miles and Ed Orgeron won national championships there. Really?
That's true. That's very true.
It's hard to fathom. It really is hard to fathom.
Look, two things from LSU national championship a couple years ago. When it was the best team probably one we've ever seen in SEC history. One, he convinced Joe Burrow to come here, basically because he took him out to a seafood restaurant near LSU, and they're out of crawfish. And Ed went back to the kitchen and said, "Go find us some crawfish now," And Joe Burrow enjoyed his visit. Also, LSU got a guy named Joe Brady from the New Orleans Saints who was like an offensive analyst or whatever, and he came in as kind of like called some plays along with LSU's offensive coordinator. And just had a great knack of calling plays and was great. But Orgeron didn't know. He told me after that season, I didn't know how good Joe Brady was. I mean, I was shocked as anybody. LSU, everything. It was a perfect storm for LSU that year. Everything came together at the right time. And Burrow was great. I mean, he was a graduate student by that point. I mean, who basically all he did was, I don't know if I think he just took classes online and just went to the football office the rest of the day and studied offense. And they had great talent around them. If you look at the people in the pros now, LSU from that team, it's unreal. So it was a perfect storm. And it happens. But again, they didn't keep it going, and Orgeron didn't know how to keep it going. He made bad hires as coordinators. As I said before, didn't even interview one of them before he hired him. And basically, I mean, his last season, he thought that maybe I can try to recreate the 2019 offense if I hire some guys who work for Joe Brady at Carolina Panthers, because that's where Brady went to after LSU. And of course, Brady's already been fired by Carolina. And he hired these guys who had no college experience whatsoever, and LSU just got killed. So, again, it didn't matter to Ed. By midseason, he was fired. They were paying him $17 million, and he makes a joke about it now. There was a Little Rock touchdown club a few weeks ago and said, when they told him that he was fired, he was getting paid $17 million. He'd say, I asked him, when you want me to leave and what door you want me to go out of? I mean,
it's pretty good.
Do you know if Ed still has the same cell phone number he had when he was at Tennessee? He might be
so. And I'm sure that's funny to some LSU fans. To a lot of people, it's insulting. Like, you took $17 million and didn't do crap the last 2 years, and you're laughing about it because you know what? You might be the smartest guy in the room because you duped LSU for $17 million and just went out the door. And some LSU fans are okay with that. They're like, well, he did win us a national championship in 2019. They were tremendous. Yeah, but so you go 500 the next 2 years with that talent? Come on, man. And that's why the LSU made the change. And LSU got highly criticized for the Brian Kelly hire. I think it's got killed nationally. What does Brian Kelly want to go to LSU for? I mean, they're just all the money they're throwing at him. Well, yeah, LSU's like anybody else. They want to win, and they had a great talent base. And Brian Kelly came to LSU for the same reason Nick Saban came to LSU. LSU puts either every year they're at the top or near the top of pro players in the league per capita from Louisiana. And that's why Brian Kelly came to LSU, because he had a better chance of winning a national championship here than he did at Notre Dame because of the talent base and facilities. And after some funny stuff early where he said family, tried to fake a Southern accent, and some of his videos with recruits dancing, which was painful, looked like me dancing, just not pretty. He's been great. He's been good to deal with. He's got a good sense of humor, and LSU fans have kind of like the fact that they see improvement from game to game in most areas, and he's very honest about assessing what's going on.
Ron, great stuff, buddy. TigerDetails.com. We will talk to you soon. Enjoy the game, and I wish I was there with you. It's one of my favorite places to watch a game. Have a great day.
Well, I'm glad it's 11 o'clock because by 12 I can probably go out to lunch.
There you go, Ron. I appreciate it. Well, the food in the press box is pretty good.
Well, it's kind of dropped off. They need to pick up their game. I don't know if it's because they're paying Kelly more money. They got to take money from elsewhere because the media food has been very good. I'm thinking about doing what I did at Tennessee one year and order pizza, have it brought in.
I remember that. Ron, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it.
Bye, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ron Higgins of TigerDetails.com. Best food, hands down, not even close, is Notre Dame and LSU that I've been to.
That's exciting. We have to reset today's tough question.
Why are we resetting today's tough question?
Because I had to delete it.
Why did you have to delete it?
Because it says we're rolling out the Smokey Grey uniforms against Alabama and not against LSU, at LSU.
Well, I thought we were more along the lines of should they do a gray out?
Yes, but they can't do a gray out if they're not wearing the gray uniforms. They're wearing them at LSU, so they can't gray out LSU.
I just meant in general, would you support a gray out?
Well, it was a solid no. It was a solid no for just the way I worded it was a little confusing. So I deleted that. It was a solid no. We're going to change it up a little bit. And it's just going to say, what is your favorite Tennessee uniform? And it's going to be the smoky gray, the black, the checkerboard down the pant leg, or just the regular thing.
Hey guys, you don't want to make a mistake when it comes to real estate. I've done that and it cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So don't do that. That's why you need to go to andymasonrealestate.com. That's andymasonrealestate.com. It's a pretty simple concept, the best service and the best prices. That's what he does. That's why he's been an institution there in the North Knoxville area, but services all of Knoxville for well over, I'm going to date us, Andy, well over, goodness gracious, 20 years, 25 years, and over 40 years of experience in that office. And that's Andy Mason, and he'll take care of you. Go to andymasonrealestate.com. He's my realtor. He should be yours. And like I say each and every time, everybody that we endorse, everybody that has ads on our site are people that we do business with, or we would if we needed their services. So again, that's andymasonrealestate.com. So coming up, we will discuss what animal Brian Kelly would be. No, we won't. But we will have message board bingo, and we'll have more good times. Maybe a little bit of Jacob Warren. I keep teasing that, but haven't had a chance to get to that. But more after this. Stay tuned. Give me 2 minutes, and we'll be right back off Thug Sports.
It's Gary Viles here, Viles Automotive on Callahan Drive. I've been selling cars here in East Tennessee for 27 years. In that time, I've come to realize it's not about the car. It's about you, the customer. So I'm here to take care of you just like family. Good credit, bad credit, you name it, we can get you taken care of. If we don't have it, we can find it for you. We go across the country to get any vehicle that you want. And here at Viles Automotive, we don't believe in fake numbers. We just give you great deals. And as always, we want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
This is Steve Rain. I own the Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct service station here in Ooltewah. It's not a fancy place, never has been, but it's a clean place with clean restrooms and good folks who work here. We sell gas and fix cars, nothing glamorous, but we love what we do, and we're going to keep doing it for a long time to come. There's not many real service stations left, and that's a shame. We're the guys just like the guys back in your hometown. We'll fix your tire, change your oil, and put a new set of Michelins on your car. If you want a Twinkie, you'll just have to keep on going. Thanks for the business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
There's your pair.
Da 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 da.
No,
da, da, da.
playing. And that's not even the right song. My goodness. My apologies. Disaster running the board today. It's been like since 1998 since I did that. Maybe that means Tennessee will win a national championship. Owl's Nest Barbecue there in Ooltewah has all of your barbecue needs. What were you singing, Amanda?
I know. It's just making up something.
Yeah. What's funny is I could hear it in my ear, but you couldn't hear it. Owl's Nest Barbecue has all the barbecue supplies you could possibly want. Owl's Nest Barbecue has the rubs, spices, and all of that, and has the Green Mountain Grills. If you don't go there and you like barbecue, you're crazy. Just crazy. You have to get the Owl's Nest Barbecue. My favorite Ed Orgeron recruiting story that I can tell, and it has nothing to do with him showing up at Marlon Brown's house, who ended up at Georgia. And let's just say that he may have partaken before the visit, which is why he ended up at Georgia. But anyway.
Did Marlon Brown have a sister?
No, Marlon Brown had a grandmother that wasn't real happy. And but my favorite one of all time, and we're going to try to get Ed Orgeron on the program. So please like, subscribe, and listen. I'll text Ed.
What?
Yeah. What's up, Hook? That's how I'll start. I guarantee you. Promise. Yeah, we can get him. So, my favorite Ed Orgeron recruiting story is he's at Southern Cal at the time, and he's recruiting Adrian Peterson. Okay. So Adrian Peterson's, there was one problem, and the reason he wanted to play at Oklahoma was a pretty serious one. And it was his dad was in prison, and he wanted his dad to be able to watch his games. So a lot of recruiters, this is why I do respect Ed Orgeron, because he didn't give up on it. A lot of recruiters would have said, well, all of the USC games aren't going to be televised because I don't think they have the direct TV option in prison in the Oklahoma penal facility. I could be wrong, but anyway, most of the games weren't televised. So Adrian Peterson wanted his dad to be able to see him play. Ed Orgeron actually called and tried to get his father transferred from the Oklahoma prison to an LA prison so that he could watch his son play for Southern Cal.
Wouldn't it just been easier just to call and be like, can we get DirecTV set up here?
I don't think that either penal facility is going to acquiesce to such request when you are just talking about football. They're kind of talking about big boy stuff like people killing people. I mean,
but
the mere fact that you would have the gall to do that is both awesome and bizarre at the same time.
But like I would think that the easiest thing would just be like, maybe we can set up, if we pay for it, can we give this guy DirecTV so he can watch his son play? Not can we move him to a different facility?
You could put a dish and run the wire in through the bars of the window, maybe.
Something, but not move the prisoner to a whole different state.
That was the plan. That was the plan.
Lord, help me.
Pedigo Chattanooga, locally owned store where you'll be treated like family. The region's foremost electric bike experts. They put their hearts into helping you find the perfect electric bike, and they'll do that. And they've got service there at Pedigo Chattanooga. Our friend Jacob Warren stopped by when he was in Chattanooga, and Pedigo Chattanooga will take care of you. By the way, you can hear Jacob Warren, you can hear Cooper Mays, you can hear Chris Landry. How about John Adams? You can hear Josh Ward as well on our YouTube channel. So please like, subscribe, and set those notifications on. Share as well. We definitely appreciate that. But that would have been a heck of a move for them to be able to pull off moving Adrian Peterson's dad to Southern Cal. That would have been awesome.
Okay.
This is a long time ago. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I mean, I think either one, your request or Ed's, was a little outside the norm. I think that's.
I mean, I'm sure it was outside the norm, but I think, hey, maybe I could pay off, the warden to get this direct TV in here versus, hey, let's move this entire prisoner because this doesn't seem like a bust.
I'm just imagining the conversation. What's up, Judge? I've been looking at it. He's got a good in-house record, and he's been a good prisoner, and he wants to see his son play, and his son's best opportunities at Southern Cal. So, Judge, can we move him to L.A.? I'm just imagining that conversation.
What if the guy didn't want to move to L.A.? Like, he's just calling on behalf of him.
Oh, there's no question. Big picture, this is trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. There's. Crazy says taxpayers already pay enough. Inmates don't need the sports package. Amen to that.
I agree with that. I'm not saying that they do. I just feel like that would have been maybe the more approachable, option versus can we move a prisoner to a different state because of the TV options.
This is too good. We got to have Ed on. I'll see if I still got his number in my phone. Say something interesting, Amanda, while I check and see if I've got his number in my phone.
Well, I think we have covered interesting when it comes to...
Talked about Philip Fulmer being compared to a walrus. We talked about...
I would have gone with the hippo.
They're angry, too.
They are the most lethal... they're the most lethal animal on the planet to humans, and they don't eat meat. That's the craziest part. People just think they're cute, so they try to touch them and they crush them with their... I learned this in Africa, and they crush them with their giant jaw thing, and then they die. They don't eat them. They just leave them.
Just leave you laying there. Like
they just
hungry hippos.
Yeah, they just don't want you to get on their turf. That's all they want. Just leave them alone, and people can't seem to do it, so they just crush them.
For people wondering, we had Jack Hanna on the program.
No, we did not.
In 2000, I did in 2005, and he asked what animal he would compare Philip Fulmer to at the time, and he said a big old walrus, because walruses seem docile, but they can attack, which would be the same thing as the hippo. It wasn't any sort of a weight joke. Come on, that would be distasteful.
It'd be an orca.
Big Orange Philly's a great place to go watch the game, and the games are on pretty much all the time now. We're in football season, so you got action on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So you've got Thursday night football, and end of the weekend, a great place to watch the LSU game. It's family friendly. Unlike some places in Baton Rouge, it is very family friendly, and at Big Orange Phillies, they've got fantastic food as well. Some people ripping on Gary Danielson. That just continues, and saying he's an Alabama homer and all this.
Ooh, no, he hates Alabama. Alabama.
I don't know, man. I've never had Pat Summerall. To me, was the gold standard of play-by-play guys because he talked very little and he got out of the way of John Madden. But other than that, announcers really don't stand out to me that much. But
I can't
Danielson.
stand Gary.
The reason we bring Danielson up is he'll be on the call for the Alabama game. That'll be 3:30 a week from Saturday. And boy, you talk about a gauntlet of games. Tennessee with 8 straight. And you could argue that the Vols benefit from a bye week after a monumental win over Florida, so they don't continue to think good about that. I think that's a strong argument to be made. But, man, 8 straight games. That is a gauntlet for a team that's still building depth. John says no one likes Gary Danielson except maybe his family. Oh, man. The one
It's
thing about Gary Danielson, I'll give him credit for, is he uses the word bastardize better than anybody I know. I think I mentioned that to you the other day. Did I mention that to you, Amanda? He loves the word bastardize. I mean, that is in a 10-minute interview, he used it 5 times.
Is that a compliment? Like, is that?
No, he thinks the rules of football that benefit offense have bastardized the sport.
No, I mean, is it a compliment to be able to use bastardized 5 times in a 10-minute interview? Because I don't feel like that's just maybe I feel like that's the word of the day kind of thing, and it just stuck with him. You know what I mean?
On his phone, he got word
Like
of
the calendar. Yeah, word of the day calendar, and he just for some reason saw the June 4th word of the day, and just that made a lasting impression on his soul.
I don't know about the word of the day, but the sleep of the night comes from the Mattress Place. The Mattress Place, 30 to 70% off each and every day. The Mattress Place is unbelievable and closer to downtown Knoxville and UT campus than you would think, just a couple of miles away. And it's Marine Corps veteran owned, over 225 5-star reviews on Google. Go in there and say Off the Hook Sports sent you. It is the Mattress Place. It is fantastic. 30 to 70% off. No gimmicks. Daniel said, I just like listening to ladies call games. Can't think of her name, but her voice is like nails on a chalkboard.
Yes, Beth Goins.
I think she's pretty solid. I'm not crazy about her voice, but I think she keeps up with the flow of the game, actually.
I mean, I think she does too, but I can't get past her voice. That's the thing. I can't even focus on what she's saying because I hate hearing it. It just hurts my ears. And I'm not one of those people who are like, ladies shouldn't be in sports, obviously.
Obviously not.
I mean, but
or you're
get somebody
dude really well.
Yeah, get somebody who sounds like maybe a woman. That'd be helpful.
I'll tell you that one of the best in the biz, female or not, is Doris Burke of the NBA. She covers the NBA sideline reporter. She's absolutely phenomenal.
Put her in there. I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
Brandon says she sounds like Doris Burke, so maybe Brandon doesn't like Doris Burke either. All right. Do we want to get to this day in sports history, or do we want to get to message board bingo? Your call, Amanda.
I think message board bingo is where we're at on the production meeting schedule at 5 a.m.
Yes, which is oftentimes deviated. Be sure and like and subscribe. Thank you, Jerry Davidson, who just subscribed. We appreciate that. Appreciate you being a part of a growing community of fun and Tennessee coverage, and we're going to continue to grow, and we'll have some big time announcements. I'll just go ahead and make it. So a big time announcement now. We will be joined by Ron Slay each and every Wednesday, and that's going to be brought to you by Zach England of Best and Brock, a Chattanooga personal injury attorney who, again, I would highly endorse. Zach's got your back, so he will bring us Ron Slay each and every Wednesday. That confirmation happening yesterday. So I got all the boxes checked. So Ron Slay will begin, I believe, next week, every Wednesday. He will join us. So the great part about Ron, and I was in Nashville, and the great part about that station, 104.5 The Zone, is they've got Ramon Foster and Ron Slay. And I knew Ron, hands down, no doubt, would be great on the radio. There's no question. And I didn't know Ramon Foster would be. And I'm there early morning. I'm driving back from Nashville to come back to Chattanooga on Friday. And so I'm like, I can't believe this is Ramon Foster. And Ramon Foster is just unbelievable. He was kind of quiet in Knoxville when he played for Tennessee, and he had a good career there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, we're excited about Ron and excited about having him on. So John says Ron Slay, the Al Wilson of UT basketball. I don't know that I follow that exactly. They seem like two completely different dudes. Al scares me. Ron makes me laugh. Daniel says Dave is going in the boom boom room. I still have to ask Ron, what exactly does that mean, the boom boom room? And it's time for message board bingo. Your opportunity to win a t-shirt message board bingo today is brought to you by our friends at Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. They've got the industrial mowers, residential, commercial. It's all there in Cleveland. You'll save a lot of money. Crazy asking me about the boom. Yeah, the Boom Boom Room is the name of Ron's podcast. That I don't know if he still does it now. He's a regular host, but it sounds like you're going to the restroom.
Not the restroom, but maybe in an establishment, a different room. Okay, so
Message bingo is now.
I'm not on the boat of moving on from our coach, but if that was the decided direction, then I'd try to get Pete Carroll. The Seahawks have been sliding. He only makes $8 million a year there. He is a terrific recruiter and has won a natty. My only questions are whether he would have the fire in the belly, have the patience to deal with high school recruiting after being in the NFL for a long time, and have the interest to coming to this place. It is an SEC school who is not on the boat of moving on from their coach. But if not on the boat of moving on, but if they decided to move on, Pete Carroll's their option.
It's like 80 now.
Does not matter to them.
I bet Pete Carroll wants to jump on planes and go all over the place recruiting. Brandon says Auburn.
No, they're everyone's on the bandwagon of jumping off of that.
Yeah. Trevor
says,
says
Harsin train.
Trevor says Texas A&M.
Trevor is correct. It is Texas A&M.
Trevor, email me at dave@offthehooksports.com. We are running out of t-shirts, so you better do it quick. I will put my email in there and we'll hook you up with a t-shirt. I was actually going to say South Carolina because I think at some point that the Shane Beamer glean is going to wear off. We've got we've got time for another one. Let's go ahead and get one in there.
His dad claims Madden is the more college-ready QB. Sucks because he's showing out at some camps and not getting offers because the school thinks he is this college lock and won't offer him to make him look better to recruiting services. It is an SEC school.
I'm completely struggling with that one. Crazy says Tennessee.
It is Tennessee. It is Nico's little brother, Madden.
Oh, okay. Crazy
Yes.
already won a shirt. Are you going to give this away to somebody else, or are you just going to roll with the shirts? Yeah, Madden is Nico's brother. I know that.
He's making a t-shirt quilt.
I wonder, honestly, does Madden know that he's named after a coach, or does he think it's a video game or a broadcast?
I'm sure his
It depends.
parents.
It depends
told
what
him.
generation you are, really.
I'm sure
Because
his parents let him know.
it's a cool first name, though.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of that before. It's not as good as Seven, as Costanza suggested on Seinfeld. Seven.
Seven.
It's all I've got. I've got 7. You can't name your kid 7. All right, this day in sports history brought to you by City Heat and Air Conditioning. City Heating and Air is just, man, it's about integrity. They've been there over 50 years, so you know exactly what you're going to get when you go to City Heating and Air Conditioning. And this one's just way out of left field. But I was watching baseball the other day, which I don't do a lot, and that Tony La Russa is still at it. I mean, good gracious. It feels like Tony La Russa has been a manager since like the 70s. And he's 78 years old today. And
Okay.
is that not insane?
That is pretty that's pretty insane. Not as insane as the 1987 first Scab Sunday of the NFL was today, with replacement players as a result of players' strike, chiefly related to the expiration of the 1982 collective bargaining agreement. Players return on October 15th.
I remember that. Okay, guys, hang with me because I want to interesting story that you may not know. The movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. Whoa. Did you know
That's a
that's
remake?
no, it's based off of a Tennessee quarterback. Did you know that? Loosely based off a Tennessee quarterback, Tony Robinson. Tony Robinson was actually in a penal facility at the time. Tony Robinson got a work release program, and he was able to play for the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins were almost all scab players. They played the Dallas Cowboys on a Sunday night. The Dallas Cowboys had Tony Dorsett. They had all their, not all, but most of their good players. And he threw this moon ball that was caught that ended up being the play of the game, but was like a crazy, just had a crazy day. And Washington beat Dallas in that game with mostly scab players. And that kind of pushed the NFL. That was a game that pushed the NFL to get their contract situation under wraps. And Tony Robinson then had to report back to prison. So he had to go back to prison, and he watched the Redskins win a Super Bowl in prison. There you go. That's this day in sports history, but we don't know that it necessarily happened today. We will join you at 8:30 tomorrow. She is the awesome one, Amanda LaFratta. I'm just Dave Hooker. Have a fantastic day, everyone.